Hello, welcome to another live. I'm very happy to be back again this week. Last week was Easter weekend for us here in the Balkans. It was Orthodox Easter, and this weekend is actually the weekend of the Polyglot Gathering, and I've been enjoying the online gathering this year. Well, actually, I say that, and then I've had lots of technical difficulties, and with it being a holiday, the 1st of May, I've had a lot of guests, so it's been a bit difficult to take part as much as I'd hoped, but I have enjoyed watching it happen, being part of it as much as I possibly could. And in fact, I've just spoken at the Polyglot Gathering, gave my presentation on how long it takes to learn a language and talking about the experiences I've had in the last year or so with people asking me questions and working with different people, and it was quite a good thing to do. And it made me think that even though I didn't advertise this ahead of time, it made sense to talk about community and what that means, and the reason why it's important to me, but also why I think it could be important to you too. And I do this on the back of making an announcement on Thursday at the Polyglot Gathering when they open the event about the Polyglot Conference. And the Polyglot Conference is obviously the event that I run with a number of other people. We work together to put on an event. It's been in our live environment online for the past few years because of COVID, but it will be in person for the first time in 2 years in Mexico, in Cholula, from the 28th to the 30th of October. And you're very welcome to check out the page, polyglotconference.com. We've got now the option to sign up for pre-registration for tickets, and we also have the option to sign up to speak. So you can choose from the topics and fill out the forms, and you can also host language events at the Polyglot Conference, whether it's the global version, which will take place from the 1st to the 9th of October, or the in-person event in Cholula, Mexico at the end of October, the 28th to the 30th of October. And you're very, very welcome to join either. I'd love to see as many people as possible, of course. And yeah, please do put your name down. We are working with the current situation on the ground in Cholula and what's possible and what's doable around the world with any travel restrictions that may or may not be in place by then. And we may or may not have a limit on how many people can attend. So if you plan on attending, please fill out the form so that we know to contact you straight away as soon as tickets are available. We will give the people who sign up preference to tickets. And if you haven't signed up and there are no tickets left, unfortunately, there won't be tickets left. We won't sell them. We'll have them available publicly. We will just give them to the people who have pre-registered. So if you are intending to come, it's really important that you sign up at the polyglotconference.com website. So today, when I was talking at the Polyglot Gathering, and when I went into a couple of the language rooms today as well. I just saw a question about where the Polyglot Conference is each year. It's in a different location each year, so we move places around the world. This year will be in Mexico. It was meant to be in Mexico in 2020. Now it's going to be for 2022. For 2023, I don't know yet. I haven't decided, but it's decided depending on budget, availability, options in the area, and I take on board many factors when making a decision like that about where it's going to be. Last time before, the physical one was in Japan, and this time it's going back to North America again, to Mexico, and we will see. I've not made any firm decisions about 2023. There will also potentially be this year also some language events. Now, the thing I get from these events, and even the Polyglot Gathering too, they are wonderful places to meet lovely people who love the same thing as you, languages, interested in languages, learning about them, and learning more of them, or even the first one. And there's a lot of range of different people, very different personalities, people with different interests, people with different professions, people learning languages for many different reasons. And the one thing that unites us all is that we all have this interest in language and want to learn. And I think that's just a positive thing. And so I don't distinguish then, personally, I don't distinguish between whether someone's learning the first or the 21st or the 31st or 101st language. It doesn't really make a big difference. I find that I can often learn something from pretty much anyone. And I think when we take time to get together and break bread and or have a long conversation on a call, I think that we can really do a lot of good. We can get a lot of good stuff from that. I'm seeing some questions and things coming up. I just want to mention that I will go back through the questions and comments after I finish talking on the topic that I've chosen for today. It normally takes around 30 minutes, and then I go back through the questions on Facebook. I'm sorry, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. So do please write, and if you have any questions or comments, I'm very happy to receive them, and I will come back to them. Please remember to like the video as well, the live, because it shows me and the algorithm that you actually appreciate what I'm doing and that you want to see more of it, and hopefully it will it will reach other people too. I definitely want to be as helpful and as useful to as many people as possible. I've been doing these lives now on a weekly basis for, I think, was it a year and a half to nearly 2 years, something like that. It's been a long time that I've been doing them every week. I've only missed a few weeks in that time. I usually am here every single week to answer questions and to engage. And so, yeah, any likes that you have, or any shares, or any subscriptions to the channel, please do. I still have more people on YouTube watching than I have likes. And I notice that every week that I think, oh dear, there's people watching who hate this. And so please do like it if you do like it. I'm not going to force you to like it, of course, but please do. Someone just left YouTube when I said that. So probably that person hated what I was saying and didn't want to like it. But please do. Thank you for showing me your love. I really appreciate it. So anyway, I was saying about these events, what I really like about them, whether they're big events like a conference or a gathering, or whether they're smaller events like the language events that I've set up in Melbourne and in Edinburgh, what I like about them is the way the community comes together. People meet each other, people get to talk to each other. The online versions as well, people meet each other, get to talk to each other, make friends, but we also feel energized after them. There's like a real energy and a buzz about these events. And I think that this can also work well in groups. So I've had people come to some of the language learning therapy sessions that I run every week, and we have actual interaction over Zoom. So people ask direct questions of me, and we follow progress, and we talk about what's difficult, what's easy, what we need help with, what's going on generally. And we take a holistic approach to the whole language learning process, which I think is really important. And the energy that I get myself from that, and I'm told by others that they get it too, is that it just helps you to feel that you're moving forward. It keeps you accountable, but it also helps to spur you on and motivate you to learn more. And I feel that these communities are really, really important for a lot of good in terms of psychological good, for keeping us motivated and moving on with the process of learning, but also they can introduce us to people who can help us in that learning process, whether it's other learners who have tips to share, or maybe become study partners, or friends, or language exchange partners, or whatever it is, or even share resources. These are the kinds of things that I think are real strengths within our language learning community. And I think that when we talk about going to events like the Polyglot Conference or the Polyglot Gathering that's happening now, there's an awful lot to be gained from using the languages, speaking with other people, speaking to other learners, and also sharing what's going on in our lives, sharing with each other what we find difficult, what we find easy, getting to know each other on a personal level, and understanding what makes us tick, and hearing that other people have other similar issues. the thing about human beings is I think that sometimes we don't realize just that how far people are actually similar, and we have similar kinds of worries, fears, issues going on. And when we are more aware of that and the reality, instead of this kind of social media polished version that many of us try to present, and I think we don't do that out of any reason to create a problem. We do it more because, I mean, you don't write on social media if you made toast. You might post a picture of a particularly nice meal, or even meals that are ordinary, but because you're doing it for a special reason, like a special diet that you're on, or something like that. But if you just make a toast and have a glass of milk or something, you're not likely to post that on social media because it's very mundane and very ordinary. But you would potentially post really, really good things or really, really bad things. So when things are going particularly badly or when things are going really well, we tend to talk about those more openly and post about them, and that has an impact on the people who look at them, watch them, read them, and listen to them. And I think it's really good to take a bit of a temperature check every now and again. And this is where I see the language learning community as a really useful tool to take that temperature check, to check in with other people and say, oh, you have that problem too. I thought it was just me. Well, I'm really glad that it's not just me, that it is you too. Not that I want you to have a bad time of it, but also it helps me to feel that I'm not going crazy, or I'm actually going through a usual normal thing. So yeah, this is kind of where I see the real strength in this. And just talking now today about language learning and how long it takes to learn a language, which is a very common and very understandable question. And it sounds like the answer, I mean, the answers I gave, sometimes you feel like maybe you're sort of repeating similar things as before. Sometimes I think it is because it's difficult to internalize certain truths. And I'm a great believer in understanding our own truth and what our situation is. So my situation may be very different to your situation. Your situation may be different to somebody else's situation, etc., etc., etc. And it could be different for a myriad of reasons. That you're simply in a different, physically in a different type of situation, location, financial, work, family situation. It could be also that you are just a very different personality type as well from somebody else who's learning the language. Um, and all of these factors, and then how you feel on a particular day, all come together and they sort of combine and mesh. And this is why I think um, honesty with ourselves and meeting other people and understanding how things can be different and seeing if we can get out what we can from what other people might be doing to make it work for ourselves is really, really key and really important. So when I do these language talks and when I talk to other people about language learning, I often find that it's more an understanding of going through all of the important things for the individual in what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they feel about it, and then what's actually possible, like evaluating their circumstances. And it's amazing because almost every time I find that people answer those questions themselves and they know, they're aware of it. But because we look to people on social media often, or people who have maybe polished their image, and as I say, this isn't any particular person, this is just, we tend to do this on social media anyway, whether it's good or bad, we just see a snippet, a snapshot of their reality and not the entirety of what's going on. And that there is exactly one of the things that I think makes it difficult to keep a grasp of the reality of the situation, of language learning, of our situation, and keeping it all tied together. And so we kind of almost start to create a new film in our heads of, oh, they must be doing that, they must be doing really well, they must be doing that, and I'm terrible, and I'm this, and I'm that. And we tend to do that strange thing of second guessing ourselves and second guessing other people. And I think sometimes some really just down-to-earth conversations really helps to sort that out and resolve it. And that's why I think where I think there is a strength in community and a strength in getting together and a strength in talking openly and honestly about what we're going through and what we're doing. So, of course, I'm always happy to talk to people individually, and maybe what we'll do is I'll have a think about other scenarios where I can reach more of you and talk more individually to you. I might run some even online Zoom sessions for a larger number of people, and you can write with questions that I can then use that will help to formulate answers. And I'll have a think about how that could work. For the meantime, I've got Patreon, and I'm very happy to answer very specific questions. If you want to sign up to Patreon and follow, I've set it as low as I possibly can to answer like serious questions without me sort of losing lots and lots of work. But I hope that it's affordable. If it's not, you can always write to me and let me know, and I'm very happy to see if because my goal is to help people who really genuinely need my help, and so I don't necessarily do this for the money. I potentially would just, and I do work with people for free, who have said to me that they can't, pay anything, and that's absolutely fine. I work with them the same way as I work with anyone else. Obviously, I need to eat, so I can't do that for so many people, but I'll do it for as many people as I possibly can. And that's my philosophy for the conference as well. If I can support anybody in coming to the conference, I would rather have people there who really want to be there than say no, because because of the price of a ticket. For me, that's kind of secondary. As long as I meet the costs of the thing, and I'm not out of pocket, I don't mind. I don't mind sort of being there to help everyone be there who wants to be there and can be there. So yes. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to say today. So please do make sure you like these videos live, and again, there's like maybe double people on YouTube now, or more than double on YouTube who have actually liked the video than have liked the video. So please, if you do like it, please do like the video so that it helps me to see that you like what I'm saying and you want me to carry on. I really appreciate it. And now what I'm going to do is go back through. Remember to visit polyglotconference.com if you want to sign up for a pre-registration for the conference. We will prioritize the people who have pre-registered for tickets. If you haven't pre-registered and we set a limit, which we might well do for the conference, I don't want you to lose out because we don't have the physical space. I would rather everyone who really wants to be there actually signs up for a ticket. So please sign up for a ticket and sign up to talk if you want to talk. Even if you want to, there are links as well for just language practice sessions and things like that too, and for teaching languages. So if you have a language that you like to teach and you want to show what you can do with people over the conference, please sign up and do that too. And we'll be very happy to host as many people as we possibly can during the online Polyglot Conference global event at the start of October and also at the end of October, live in Cholula in Mexico. So now I'm going to look through the comments and questions I have. I'm going to start with Instagram, and then I'm going to move to YouTube. So on Instagram, let me see. I think I saw a couple of questions before. Hello here. Thank you for saying hello, everyone. Really appreciate it. I see them flash by, but hi from Thailand. Wow. Hello. Do you speak Turkish? Yes. Well, I do. It's a language we use here in the Balkans. So yes, I can communicate in Turkish. Hi Joshua. Oh, do I speak? A minute. Okay. I'm sorry. It's unfortunately the Arabic script is so small for me. I can't even see it very well on my thing. I find it very difficult to read because I can't see all the dots very clearly. So excuse me if I can't read that, but feel free to ask again. Do you speak Kazakh? No, I don't, unfortunately. Not yet. I would like to learn at some point, but yeah, I don't speak it yet. I think it sounds lovely though. I like the sound of Kazakh. Where is the conference? I think I answered that one before. The conference this year is going to be in Cholula, Mexico, and also at the polyglotconference.com website on our live environment for the global conference at the start of October. And it changes every year. We pick a new place every year. Richard, I saw your interview with Walter, and I was shocked. You were shocked. Shocked in a good way or shocked in a bad way? It's always interesting to know. Shocked in a good way, shocked in a bad way. And shocked about what? What were you shocked about? Was I terrible? Okay. I have been living in Capella an den IJssel for 25 years and never knew you were there for a few years. Yes, I was. Capella an den IJssel was, well, I actually worked in Capella an den IJssel and I lived in Zevenkamp in Rotterdam. So it was a very short bicycle ride from Zevenkamp to Capella. And I used to make that journey by bike every day to go to work. Well, every weekday I have to go to work. And I'd cycle every now and again to Gouda and to other places as well nearby with those great fat cycle tracks you have in the Netherlands. I love them. And I loved living there. It was a very nice place to live. Very easy. For someone from the UK, it's super easy to live in the Netherlands. It's really, yeah, really easy place to live. Liebe Grüße aus Deutschland. Vielen Dank, das ist nett. Ja, liebe Grüße aus Skopje auch. Mal gucken. Let me see. Okay, 2023. Really want to come to a Polyglot Gathering conference. Yeah, Polyglot Gathering and the Polyglot Conference are both lovely things to experience. I think. I mean, I'm a bit biased, see when it comes to the conference, but I think they're lovely things to attend. Both of them are are a lot of fun. I'm going to so the gathering is actually taking place in person too this year, from the 1st to the 6th of June, and it's going to be in Terezin in Poland, which is, I believe, about 40 minutes roughly from Warsaw. So if you're interested, go to the Polyglot Gathering website. And if you are near Warsaw, it would be great to see you. I'm going to be there. So I've got my ticket to go to Warsaw. It's going to be my first flight in over 2 years. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous about flying again after so long. It's going to be very strange, but I'm looking forward to going there. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Glad to see you too. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Okay. How am I doing? I'm doing well, thank you. Let me see. Any other things I can answer here? Let me see. And see you get a lot of notifications on Instagram, fortunately. Like with people joining or whatever, it's very nice to see, but also it makes it very difficult to read the comments. I'm going to suggest Swedish Sweden is the location for the Polyglot Conference, because I'm a student, so I can't really afford traveling right now. Lol. Yeah, I mean, you would be surprised how many of those messages I get. Can you have it right where I live? Yeah, I actually had somebody write to me once, and we took the conference like to a completely different continent, and they wrote and said, can you have it next time, like in my city instead? And it was, I think, about like maybe half an hour away from where the conference was. I was like, we can't be that specific and take it to one individual. But who knows? Sweden, we've not been to, and maybe I'm not going to say no. I don't know, but it is funny. I like that you write that though. I think it's quite sweet, and I like that you want to come. So maybe. Do you prefer learning vocabulary using flashcards or in context? I'm more of a context kind of person. I do sometimes use, and I have used flashcards, but I'm more a context person is it useful for me person. So I don't learn vocabulary just for learning vocabulary's sake. I find that I tend to forget it if I just learn vocabulary for the fun of it. By the way, I was surprised and happy when I noticed you following me. Oh, you're very welcome. I believe it brought me luck because I also landed a great job in a Norwegian customer agent. Sounds like, oh, fantastic! Congratulations, gratulera. That's great. Well done. I hope I did bring you luck. That sounds very nice. Thanks for all you do to help others. Very welcome. Thank you for appreciating it. I really am grateful when I see messages like that. Thank you. Can you say anything about strategies to what? Sorry, on my word. To set info grid if you are overwhelmed by your goal of being fluent. Should SMART goals, but I get overwhelmed. So getting overwhelmed is quite common. So first of all, what you describe, I think I've seen quite a few times. People get overwhelmed for many reasons, and sometimes it's external, sometimes it's to do with the language learning itself. Sometimes it's putting pressure on yourself to maybe reach a goal that's unrealistic, and then maybe we just need to bring the goals down a little bit and say, okay, look, I'm only human, I'm not a robot. It takes a lot of repetition to get this language in my head. And so I would definitely suggest, making sure that you're setting goals that are realistic with the amount of time you have available, and making sure that you, that you maybe have very, very specific goals, like certain types of vocabulary that you want, certain things that you want to be able to say and express in the language, so that you can look back after a week or 2 weeks or a month and look back and say, okay, look, I've actually done that now. And I find that helps a lot. But expect that you need to forget things as well before you remember them and use them completely. It's completely normal. I have that all the time. Ja, tusen tack. You're very welcome. Varsågod. Richard, how do you utilize? Okay, how do you utilize your talent in language learning? So I use my languages for work. I use them in social media management projects. So I assess people for language learning project. Well, language learning project. I assess people's language abilities for work on teams on social media for clients who require multilingual support. And I also look at how that's carried out, that kind of support and work is carried out over different languages, and if it's of a sufficient quality for the client, or if there are any problems, I can assist in trying to figure out what happened. Also, sort of interviewing people for those kinds of things, like actually finding people for teams, and I also do give advice to clients who have multilingual projects and they're not sure how it's going to run or work across territories, and so I can help with that kind of thing too. So I use languages for a lot of reasons like that. I've used them in the past for many different types of things, different events that I've been involved in and also run myself. And and then also for my normal day-to-day life and my home life, my friends, my social life. I use them for a number of different things. Hello, hello. Okay. I think I've gone through all the questions now on Instagram, so I'm going to move to YouTube and have a look, see what I've missed on YouTube. So thank you so much. Chanel, good to see you. How are you doing? Yes, so you're glad that everyone's able to go to Chanel this year. Oh, to Cholula. Yeah, we're glad we're going to Cholula this year. Yeah, me too. I'll probably be online this year, but won't make it to Mexico. Well, I will be very, very pleased to have you with us online, Chanel. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. You're such a positive person, so lovely. Thank you. Is there a lack of self-confidence? I hear. No, I don't really have a. I think this is probably about the flying, was it? But it's not a lack of self-confidence. It's more my word. We've not been. If you imagine, I mean, I've been at home for over 2 years and wearing masks everywhere I go and all that kind of stuff. And I think just getting on a plane now after 2 years, it feels a bit weird. It feels all very, very strange that I'm going to be doing that again. And I mean, maybe it is a slight lack of confidence after 2 years at home, but I think I'll get over it. I've just got to push myself. Sometimes it feels a little bit weird, I guess. And look, I mean, language learning is all about feeling a bit uncomfortable out of your comfort zone, right? So I'll get over it. But thank you for calling me out on it. Yeah, absolutely. Γεια σου φίλε μου, πώς είσαι, μια χαρά ευχαριστώ. Πόσο σιγά μιλάς ελληνικά με μελόφωνος. Αν, χωρίς, χωρίς το COVID, αυτό ήταν κάθε κάθε 2 μήνες νομίζω. Σιγά στην Ελλάδα, στη Θεσσαλονίκη, αλλά τώρα ναι, ήμουν μόνο μία φορά αυτά τα χρόνια στη Θεσσαλονίκη, γιατί με το COVID ήταν πάρα πολύ δύσκολο να, να κάνω κάτι στην Ελλάδα. Και στην Ελλάδα ήταν πάρα πολύ δύσκολο και, να κάνω κάτι επίσης. Αυτό ήταν το πρόβλημα μου. Αλλά τώρα, ναι, θα ήθελα να πάω στην Ελλάδα. Κανονικά είμαστε στην Ελλάδα 6-7 φορές στο χρόνο, και γιατί είναι πολύ κοντά. Είναι μόνο 2 ώρες με το αυτοκίνητο μας από εδώ, από τα Σκόπια. Και γι' αυτό και μας αρέσει πολύ η Ελλάδα. Και εκεί, ναι, για εμένα είναι μοιραίο που μιλάω ελληνικά, γιατί δεν μιλάω καθόλου αγγλικά με Έλληνους στην Ελλάδα. Είναι για εμένα λίγο τρελό να το κάνω, γιατί καταλαβαίνω και μιλάω εντάξει στα ελληνικά. Δεν υπάρχει κανένα πρόβλημα. Αλλά ναι, έτσι. Oi, Richard, tudo bem? Você fala português fluentemente? É difícil dizer com... Você quer dizer com fluentemente. Isso é uma coisa que eu aprendi na universidade. Então, eu estudei português na universidade. Então, para mim, isso é uma língua que, para mim, também trabalhava em português para o meu trabalho em Rotterdam e também em vários países. Então, é uma língua que também uso para o meu trabalho. Então, tenho que ler coisas em português. Não falo muito agora, não, porque é uma língua que não temos aqui na cidade onde vivo, mas temos outras línguas. Mas é uma língua que, depois da universidade, é um pouco difícil esquecer uma língua completamente. Então, sim, acho que não tenho problemas para a comunicação em português, para nada. Eu tenho feito também várias vezes um live sobre Instagram, em português com brasileiros. Então, mas o português que eu aprendi na universidade é o português de Portugal. Era muito fechado, sim, mas depois eu fui para Brasil e aprendi a falar mais com sotaque mais perto dos brasileiros. Mas agora é como um meio Atlântico. Pode ser, não sei, você pode dizer. How do you utilize your tablet in language learning? Oh, I use it all the time. Yeah, so I love my tablet. It's like one of my favorite things. I have lots of books that are on my Kindle. So I have a Kindle app on here, and I use my books for it because I can make words bigger or smaller, whatever, but bigger normally. I need to make them bigger, particularly if they're in different alphabets. Some of the alphabets can be quite tricky to read if they're very small. Like you could see before, I was trying to read something and I couldn't even see if it was in Arabic or Farsi because the script is so small, and it's a script that I am familiar with, but it's very difficult for me to read it, particularly on Instagram. I find TikTok a nightmare for that as well. Whereas I can make it bigger on this, and also I use it for like watching videos. I have Netflix installed on there. I have my YouTube on there. I also have a number of applications where I can listen to radio, watch TV, all that kind of stuff. And I have, lots and lots of stuff on my on my iPad. So yeah, I use it a lot. Mm. Um, I've been interested in languages my whole life, but have never needed anything but English. And so learning was sporadic. Finding language learning communities online helps make the learning regular. Very nice comment. Yes. Yeah. And I think this is the thing, right? I mean, look, I love learning languages, but I also recognize, that if you just speak English, of course you can travel. People like to practice their English, but a lot of people like to learn English. It's probably the most studied language in the world as a second language. And so, yeah, it's not so difficult as an English speaker to do that. What I would say is that when we make the effort to learn another language, is that we actually have a different experience of the country and the people, and that's why it's so nice to speak another language. That's what I find. Um, I can't imagine, like, there are certain situations actually where I've met people who don't speak English, and I'm related to people now through marriage, particularly, who or have been people who have since died, and they didn't speak English, and if I didn't speak the local languages, then I wouldn't be able to communicate with them. I wouldn't have been able to communicate with them, and my life would have been a lot poorer as a result. So, and sometimes when I travel, I meet people that don't speak English either, and I can ask them questions that otherwise I wouldn't be able to ask them about where they live, about what their lives are like, about what the situation's like in the local area. And not having that filtered through somebody who works in tourism, who has to give a maybe a particular image of the place, is actually quite refreshing, because you get a refreshing, unadulterated, honest answer. And I quite like that when I speak to people in their languages. And it's true, that quote is very, look, it's been used many, many times, the whole, you speak to somebody's heart if you speak to them in their language. But there's a lot of truth in that quote, and I absolutely feel that. So yeah, I think it is really good to do it. So if you can take yourself out of the comfort zone and speak and learn, it's really worth it. It also enriches your own language, because you get an appreciation and understanding of how your own language works, especially if you learn languages that are similar to, or have like a connection culturally or linguistically. It doesn't even have to be completely related. If they're culturally related, you get quite a good appreciation of a number of things, where things came from, how they work, how they come together. That the etymology of things for me is, it's one of the biggest attractions now to my language study. I love learning about how languages interact and how things came about. I love that kind of thing. Um, oh, I didn't think there was going to be a live this week, Kevin. Do you know, it was just I was so busy. It's a national holiday here, and the guests left. I had my live on. I had my live. I had my presentation at the gathering, and I just thought that I'd talk just generally about the gathering going on at the moment, and also the conference and things like that. So yeah, I didn't announce it. I just decided to open it up. I know I'm terrible. I'm probably the worst, and I work in social media, so it's ridiculous. But I know what I'm supposed to do, and I don't always do it, because I actually do this because I just enjoy the company and the fun, and I don't run it as a business in the same way. So it's just I enjoy enjoy it. So I hope you don't mind. Normally I do announce things, and I do ask questions, and I do say what the topic's going to be, and I'll do my best to do that in the future. But it has been a long time that I've been running these now, so I think I'm okay to just have random ones like this. Richard, in school, did geometry and algebra come more naturally to you? Oh, more naturally than what? Is my question back, Kevin, unfortunately. I don't know. I was okay at maths, actually, generally. I was actually okay at maths. Geometry and algebra, I don't remember, it's such a long time ago now. I don't know if they came particularly more easily to me or not than to anyone else in the class. But I was okay at maths. I wasn't bad at maths in any way. I was quite good at I liked science a lot, actually, and maths being sort of very related to that. Um, yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, it's a bit of a bit of a half answer, but yeah, I don't remember very well. JR, I have no idea how people read Arabic on the computer. It's so tiny. Yeah, it is, JR, absolutely. I find Arabic and sometimes Chinese, but Chinese can if I know the characters, I tend weirdly I've got better at reading smaller Chinese characters that I know, but I'm still, even with Chinese as well, I find it quite difficult to read because it gets so small. It's so small for me. I also find Thai very difficult to read on. Not that I'm a very good reader anyway of Thai, but even the things I can read, I'm like, yeah, when it's on the computer, it's really, really difficult for me. From where is he reading the comments? Clearly not YouTube. Yeah, I read them after. So I do half an hour and then I do one or the other. I normally alternate Instagram and then YouTube. So that's how it works. Halil, there we go. Vaughan Smith came on my news feed, and it was a fascinating story. Reminds me of myself in a bit doing odd jobs and learning languages, and also saw a video of you guys talking. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, Svetlana. Vaughan was really nice, actually. He's a really nice guy, and I really enjoyed talking to him. I thought he was lovely. Yeah, I'm glad you saw it. So the conference in October is both in person and online. Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to have the virtual or the global conference, the online version, will be from the 1st to the 9th of October. And then the in-person conference will be from the 28th to the 30th of October in Cholula, Mexico. Yeah. And both of them are on, you can see on the website, and you can sign up to reserve tickets as well and to apply to talk. Flashcards are kind of boring. Yeah, they can be. I agree. Flashcards are for complete nonsense, but for us, they have been learning languages for a while. It doesn't do much. We want more substance. So Lana, yeah, flashcards. It's funny because some of the languages that I've learned and some of the words I've learned from some languages, I remember I learned them with flashcards years ago. But yeah, I don't tend to use them often now at all, if ever. It's very rare. Only if I'm sort of trying to sort of get to grips with a certain lesson or a certain thing that I want to say. But yeah, not very often. I often forget to do them and do other things instead. Yeah, maybe it is better for like if you're doing your first, second language, it's completely possible, like monolingual is the second language. I agree, JR. Maybe it is, maybe that is a good way. There are people that really swear by them, and I think this is the thing, there's no one thing that works well for everyone. Some people really love them and they go swear by them, they do really well with them, and more power to them is what I say. Parabéns, o português é muito bom. Obrigado. Estou ima, Richard. Что има? Не знам. Нещо има. Не, се dobro, da. Hvala. Hvala. Sve je u redu. Auritia fala português do Brasil e 10% português de Portugal. Ué, tá legal. Momče Makedonče. Hvala ti. Ne znam što da kažem. Richard uses standard Spanish from Spain, where you speak Spanish. Yes, I do. Es impresionante. Obrigado. Okay. Bravo. Půjdem miláš Anglika ne Elinikes. Ne, δεν το κάνω. Γιατί να το κάνω. Δεν είναι, για εμένα δεν πειράζει, στα ελληνικά είναι εντάξει. Μιλάς καλύτερα ελληνικά από τους Κύπριους. Δεν το ξέρω. Αλλά ευχαριστώ. Ναι. Βγάζω το καπέλο. Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Ναι. Αλλά ελπίζω ότι μιλάω ελληνικά εντάξει τώρα. Γιατί δεν ξέρω ποια χρονιά είμαστε εδώ και μιλάω σιγά ελληνικά με τους Έλληνες. Αλλά Αλλά τώρα ναι, ξέρω, πρέπει να μιλάω καλύτερα. Θα ήθελα να μιλάω καλύτερα, αλλά θέλει χρόνο. Γι' αυτό είναι το πρόβλημα. Γιατί με τα κείμενα από το βιβλίο μου, έχω με β1, β2 και κάτι άλλο. Έχω και μερικές ώρες στο italki για τα ελληνικά και με την πανδημία ήταν πάρα πολύ δύσκολο και κάθε δεύτερο το πρωί έχω μία ώρα ελληνικά και μιλάω με αυτόν και μιλάμε μαζί για τη ζωή, για όλα τα πράγματα που κάνω κανονικά και έτσι. Αλλά ναι, θα ήθελα να μιλάω καλύτερα. Νομίζω γιατί έχω με ποιον να μιλάω στα ελληνικά και αυτό είναι για εμένα πάρα πολύ ενδιαφέρον και πιο σημαντικό να το κάνω. Είναι το ίδιο με τα αλβανικά και με τα τουρκικά, γιατί μιλάμε εδώ αυτές τις γλώσσες. Δεν είναι σαν, δεν ξέρω, άλλη γλώσσα που δεν χρησιμοποιώ στη ζωή μου καθόλου. Σαν Σουαχίλι δεν είναι μια γλώσσα εδώ. Δεν είναι από το Βαλκάνι, δεν έχω με ποιον να μιλάω και έτσι. Let's see. Ναι. Ναι. Okay. Let me see. Next question. Εγώ προσφέρω καφή λίγους μήνες. Ναι, σίγουρα μαθαίνω. Estou aprendendo português do Brasil devagar. Sim, é uma coisa devagar, tá bom. Então, para aprender uma língua é uma coisa que acho que preciso de fazer a mesma coisa com as línguas. Preciso de fazer alguma coisa, mas não posso aprender uma língua assim para sempre e muito rapidamente. Então, isso para mim é normal. Koji su materija koristio za učenje albanskog? Učenje albanskog jezika sam koristio iz Makedonije i ima jedna knjiga albanski za stranci, mislim da je to. Ali ima jedna knjiga i se zove, titlom je kako je, Discovering Albanian. To je stvarno dobra knjiga za albanski jezik. Ako hoćeš naučiti dobro. Ali to je jedan jezik što imamo ovdje u Makedoniji, imamo u Skopju, imam možnosti da govorim, da pričam sa ljudima ovdje i zato imam i televiziju na albanskom i zato je malo lakše za mene. Ali da, to. Hello, Mr. Richard. Nice to see you. Nice to see you too. Let me see. What's the difference between lingua franca and universal language? Oh, nice question. So lingua franca just means literally like French language, I guess. From Latin, that's like a common language. Lingua franca. Well, not French language, literally French, but that would be a language that you use so a lingua franca could change between, I guess, around the world. It could be in some parts of the world, a lingua franca might be Spanish, it might be Russian, it might be English, it might be German, it might be something else, who knows. Whereas a universal language, that idea of a universal language, I see as something trying to be a language for everyone around the world. Maybe like Esperanto is a language that's universal. But I think you could probably mix the two terms up as well. I don't think there's a clear delineation necessarily. And you could even describe English as a universal language almost now because it's become so international. So yeah. Do you also speak Finnish, by the way? My Finnish is probably not very good anymore. I mean, I studied it for a few months and studied at university in Helsinki, actually. But it's not a language I use, and I've since studied Estonian, so it's probably been overwritten completely by Estonian. I probably still understand it fairly well, though. If you speak, I mean, not that I ever spoke it really, really well. I got to maybe like an A2-ish level in Finnish. Hello from Brazil. Hello. Hola. I've had a weird experience recently. I've been learning Finnish for a while, but I'm going to focus for me not right now. The weird thing is that when I listen to another language, I've dabbled in I hear, yeah, it's quite weird when you do that. You hear Finnish. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. It's weird how they all sort of interact. É verdade. Ni hao, ni hao. Any updates on your Korean learning journey, or is that still going? Good question, Josh. Yes and no. So yes, it is still going. It's very, very slow. It's a very back burner project for me with Korean. I have periods where I don't study very much or even at all, and focus on other languages. So at the moment, my focus is on Cornish because I have my exam coming up next month. I'm going to be doing my grade 2 exam for Cornish. There are 4 grades, and I want to complete all 4 grades. So that's my focus right now. That, and I've been doing Irish, and we'll see how it goes. But yes, I would like to do more Korean, and in fact, my hope is in the next few years that I will get to go back to Korea, and I would like to get down to it properly with Korean, and also improve my my Japanese and Chinese, get back to them as well at some point. That's a dream. We will see how it goes. At the moment, I feel like my Korean studies are feeling more familiar with the language and being exposed to it, so that when I come back to it properly, that it doesn't feel so strange. Let's see. Any update? Okay, let's see. It's like train my brain to receive Finnish, and yeah, that's absolutely how it can be sometimes. Mr. Richard, did you experience sometimes the Assimil method? Yeah, so I know the Assimil method fairly well, and yeah, I mean, I do. I like Assimil. I'm not using it at the moment, but I do like it. Yeah. Do you speak Dutch? Yes, I do. I lived in the Netherlands for 2 years, and I worked in Dutch. My work was like I was communicating with my boss and things like that in Dutch. So yeah, I had to speak Dutch. Do you have any tips on learning a language that is very different from your native one, like Mandarin, for example? A lot of exposure. This is kind of what I'm going through now with Korean. I find it's a lot of familiarization with different sounds and different words and different grammar, and that just takes time and a lot of time to get used to it. So yeah, a lot of listening, a lot of reading, and doing it on a daily basis and repeating it, because it doesn't stick automatically straight away. Verdade, eu tentei aprender rápido demais e perdi a motivação. Sim, mas isso serviu de lição. Assim, é um processo devagar. Sim, é verdade. É para mim também. É sempre assim. Always great to listen to you, Richard. Would love to see you in a video of you just telling some stories about what you've experienced. Thanks for your language, maybe as an interview with another polyglot. Wow, thank you, Maurizio. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I will. I'll think about how I can do that. Kernoion or Kernoak. So Kernoak is the word of the language, Kernoak, and Kernoion is Cornish people, like male Cornish people. Super govoriš srpsko-hrvatski, svaka čast. Hvala ti puno, ali živimo ovdje ne znam koliko vremena sad, a imamo svi i na naškom. I zato je to malo lakše za mene da govorim i da razumijem vrlo dobro. Znači, za mene imamo viceve sve na naškom ovdje. Video klipove i sve na naškom imamo. I to je i u televiziji sve, na radio, pesme, sve na naškom. Ali da pričam samo u Srbiji ili možda i u Hrvatskoj ili u Bosni nisam bio dugo vremena, ali u Srbiji sam bio 2 sata u pandemiji, ali govorio sam samo na naškom. Nisam morao govoriti na engleskom ili nešto tako. Ali za mene lakše i na makedonskom da pričam. Ako su iz Južne Srbije, možda i na makedonskom samo direktno da govorim. Jer dijalekte tamo u Srbiji su stvarno kao ovde. Nema problema razumimo se bez problema. Znači, ok, kan du snakke norsk? Ja, jeg snakker litt norsk. Jeg har gjort en projekt for norsk, og det der jeg lenge siden nå. Jeg var i Norge, i Oslo, Tromsø og Svalbard. Jeg har gjort en kurs med Teach Yourself, og så var jeg i Norge. Jeg snakket med norskfolk der. Og jeg snakket norsk, men jeg har vært i Norge, og jeg snakket også svensk. Så svensk er min sterkeste skandinaviske språk. Jeg snakker det ok. Jeg har lært svensk på universitet i Storbritannia, men snakker norsk nå, så er det litt for svensk. Det vet jeg. Men det är okej. För kommunikationen så inga problem. Ja, men det är så att snacka bra och ja, rent norsk. Men det är okej. That's cool. If I remember correctly, you were studying Korean with your daughter, and how's she going with her learning journey? If I may ask. So yeah, my daughter, she was interested in exploring Korean. At the moment, I mean, she has a lot of stuff going on at school because she's a high school student. So she has a lot of stuff going on at school. So it's more of a kind of a fun hobby thing for her to look at when she has time. I don't track that in any way for her. I think she's got enough on her plate, so she can do that. She's definitely responsible enough to be able to just follow it and do what she likes. Yeah. In Gaelic now, are you fully conversational? In Gaelic, absolutely not. My Gaelic is dreadful, and my Irish has actually taken over my Gaelic. But it's not. I love Gaelic. I love it, but I just find it very hard to find people to talk to. Has been my problem with Gaelic, and finding my part in the community. Whereas I don't know, Irish is just there's a lot more resources for Irish, and also I think it's easier to find affordable options that I might be able to go to study Irish in Ireland, whereas in Scotland, I'm not sure how doable that is for me at the moment. Maybe later, I'll see. But I think learning both of them at the same time is a bit challenging. See how I get on. ¿Aprenderás gallego, Richard? No, creo que no. Es que la verdad es que me gustaría aprender todos los idiomas del mundo. Para decir la verdad. Pero lo que pasa es que con un idioma como el gallego, por ejemplo, para mí, sí que hablo español, hablo portugués y catalán, y creo que ya está bien. Porque entiendo gallego bastante bien y me entienden también a mí cuando hablo español o portugués. A ver, porque es un poco difícil aprender a hablar un idioma tan parecido también a los otros que ya hablo. A ver, un día, quién sabe, a lo mejor. Me gustaría, la verdad, pero creo que no. Hi from Stockholm. Hey, Naaman, hey. Okay. Oh, you've written in Arabic and I can't read very well because it's small for me. I'm so sorry. Not that my Arabic is very good, unfortunately, either. Cosa pensi del Polyglot Gathering? Mi piace tanto, sì. È una cosa che veramente mi piace. L'ho parlato un po' su di questo nei primi non so quanti minuti, ma sì, mi piace, mi piace. Per me è un'opportunità parlare con gli amici, anche usare le mie lingue, quindi per me è sempre un piacere, essere con loro e parlare anche oggi ho fatto la presentazione sulle lingue, ho parlato anche giovedì, sulla conferenza poliglota, quindi abbiamo già discusso varie cose e questo sì mi piace. Era un po' difficile questo fine settimana è un perché è maggio, adesso è il primo maggio, allora, qui è una celebrazione abbastanza importante, quindi, abbiamo ricevuto anche amici qui a casa, quindi era un po' difficile, essere, online tutto il tempo, ma, sì, mi è piaciuto quello che ho visto, e mi piacerebbe anche continuare questa sera. Allora, sì. A ti piace anche a te? Cosa ne pensi? Oh, wow. Every time when I see your videos, you help me go forward to learn English. You inspire me. Thank you. You're very kind, Hakeem. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, shukran elf mara. Ma ġarul besels. Eħt kħiċit ma ġarul beselek. Nen naġon jol. Yeah, very, very little Hungarian. I studied a little bit when I had the first conference in Budapest like 8 years ago or so, but I've not really touched it since. But yeah, there's a lot to learn for Hungarian. Luca's learning that actually. We've been learning it for a while. Quando você fala português, eu posso entendê-lo perfeitamente. Obrigado. Está perfeito. Mówisz po polsku? Tak, mówię. Byłem, kilka razy w Polsce, żeby mówiłem jeszcze lepiej po polsku, ale no to dawno temu teraz, ale byłem, w Poznaniu, na 2 miesiące, a jeszcze 2 razy, w Poznaniu, a jeszcze byłem w Warszawie, w Bydgoszczy, w Krakowie, i gdzie jeszcze? W Gdańsku, byłem. Także poużywałem, polski, z ludźmi w Polsce, a takie em, dla dla, dla roboty w internecie z firmami. To jest dla mnie, no, bardzo mi się podoba, e, i dla mnie to nie było bardzo trudne, nauczyć się, trochę polskiego, dlatego że, mówiłem już, po czesku, a także to bardzo się podoba. Także rozumiałem dobrze, em, przed tym, a posle no to było po miesiąc w Polsce, zacząłem że mówić po polsku. A także no to jest w porządku dla komunikacji w Polsce. To będę jeszcze jedno mówić po polsku tam w Warszawie dla gatheringu. Także to było dla mnie fajnie, no to jsem používal, používałem, em, bardzo często w Polsce. Takže, kabeletuski. I don't speak Lithuanian, but I do understand certain words because I've studied Latvian, but no, I don't speak it, unfortunately. Je parle couramment le français, mais actuellement, je suis en train d'apprendre l'anglais. Je comprends assez bien, mais que je ne parle pas encore, un conseil s'il vous plaît. Mais il faut parler, si tu veux parler, il faut parler, c'est ça en fait. Il y a rien d'autre à faire. Si on veut parler, il faut parler. Si on pratique pas, on pratique pas. On va pas arriver à parler sans pratiquer, quoi. Donc ça, c'est très important en 1er lieu et puis après, je dirais que trouver quelqu'un, en ligne ou bien où tu habites là, c'est très important. Il y a il y a même des applications comme par exemple, ça s'appelle comment? iLocal, et tu peux trouver même des gens qui vont parler, la langue, tu vas apprendre pour toi l'anglais, gratuitement et puis aussi il y a des trucs comme, ça s'appelle comment déjà? Clubhouse, où tu peux aussi pratiquer les langues. Tu peux même choisir un thème que tu veux, puis, tu commences à parler avec les gens et ça va t'aider beaucoup à vraiment commencer à utiliser la langue, dans une manière, plus naturelle et bien aussi, hem, ça va te faciliter aussi à pouvoir écouter les gens qui vont utiliser la langue et parler sur les thèmes différents. Hem, aussi, d'une manière naturelle et je crois que ça, c'est une pour toi peut-être une bonne idée. Tu peux utiliser ça et puis tu me dire si ça marche, comment si ça te plaît. Hem, Hey Richard, I came after finishing my own talk. Nice to see you, Israel. How did your talk go? Pratar du svenska? Ja, det gör jag. Jag tycker också mycket om Polyglot Gathering. Att det här, jag har varit med för första gången. Jag är nöjd för jag fick prata finska några gånger. Det är inte lätt att öva, öva, vad var det? Öva på det. Nej, och i Sverige, ja, kanske det är inte så lätt, nej. Men i Helsingfors till exempel, det är okej. Men ja, det pratar jag också. Jag har studerat svenska på universitetet i Storbritannien, så jag var där, det var jag 2 år, på universitetet och så har jag varit också i Sverige. Så jag använder det också med, jag studerade också, på nätet, i Sverige, i Dalarna, högskolan där. Och, universitetet i Sverige, Dalarna och Malmö. Jag har gjort, ja, japanska, ryska, vad nå, kinesiska, och vad till? Ja, ryska, arabiska och och georgiska, på universitet i Sverige med på nätet. Och jag använder svenskan för att kommunicera med lärare och för att prata och för att lära mig, de där språken. Så det var inte bara att kommunicera som turist i Sverige, det var också ja, för att studera. Och så ja, det kan jag. Ja, tack. Vad kul. Jag tycker så mycket om dina video. Ja, tack så mycket. Putkosome puhun olin Helsingin yliopistossa. Ja, mä yeah, unfortunately, my Finnish now is so tired because I've not used it in maybe 7 years or more. It's been a long time since I was at the university, and now the more natural thing to do would be to speak in Estonian because it's similar, and I studied Estonian. ¿Puedes hablar un poco de español, de español? Claro. Pues que he hablado también español para mí, no pasa nada. Es que es un idioma que utilizo también en casa, hablamos español. Así que no. Where does the Basque language come from? The Basque language comes from the Basque Country. It's a language isolate, and it's spoken in the Basque Country in France and in Spain. But other than that, I don't know, and I don't think anybody else knows 100%. Polish åker du till, jag åker till, så ja, okej. Malat Gelga, ja. Malian Gelga, Tashi, Tanga, ja, Rova, ja, Anvar, Tashi Gehinter, ach, Níl gaeilge lífhagan, anois, má tá mé a fólam géalga le séhí anuas ach tá sé níl sé an má níl sé ri fuasta ag fáilim géalga. Tá mé a fáilim le Martin duine as ísealtír trí trí uirthta sa teachta agus tá sé cuasa risionta bhar rangana agus yeah. Hálam mé Albánis an scóil in London le bliain ach I can't think of anything else now to say. Yeah, that helped kind of with the background, but yeah, it's getting to try and form sentences in Irish spontaneously is hard. So you can tell I probably from what I said I've studied it, but not that great yet. It's getting good. Oh, Higme. Okay, you understood what I said. Wow, Higme Gach rud. Okay, gach rud. Everything I said. Gach rud a dúirtú. Oh, Gurv Magat. Tá sé go hintach. Okay, maybe there is Gaeilge lífagam. Who knows? I love that you understood me there. That makes me very happy. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. I used to talk to my teachers in Spanish hours a day, and then I was learning Spanish. And yeah. Tá tú ag déana go má ó gur magat máthú gur magat. Salut Richard, tu apprends encore le coréen? Oui, je viens de parler de ça. Oui, je fais en fait, mais par contre, ça va pas très bien. Mais je fais ce que je peux en fait pour comprendre un peu comment ça marche, les sons de la langue par exemple, les mots. Puis je vais continuer plus tard, j'espère. On va faire quelque chose ouais, d'apprendre un peu mieux quoi. Mais il faut que je fasse beaucoup d'efforts pour l'apprendre parce que c'est vachement différent. Ça n'a rien à voir avec les autres langues que j'ai apprises. Hein, c'est difficile. Hein. Mais j'adore la langue. Je continue même avec les groupes. Hein, et je trouve les gens qui apprennent avec moi aussi très sympas. Donc j'aimerais bien continuer. Je vais voir. Tommy, ok. Tommy Brodul. Awesome. I'm proud of you. Oh, good maggot. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you. I still haven't heard a single polyglot that speaks Norwegian well. Okay. They all just learn Swedish and then think it's enough. Kind of sad. It's not the same thing. No, it's not, Teresa. No, it's not. It's not the same thing at all. Of course it isn't. But no one's pretending it is. So I studied Swedish at university. Norwegian wasn't an option to study. So I studied Swedish because that was the language you had to study. And I wanted to study Icelandic actually. But the language I had to study was Swedish. Unfortunately, once you've studied Swedish and you try and learn Norwegian, it's actually very difficult to separate the two languages completely. So I made a very big effort when I went years and years ago, to learn Norwegian from the beginning and to make an effort to do it. But what happens is when you use another language in spoken form, like Swedish for me, and you can communicate, because even if you studied some of the other language, they mesh again together, unfortunately. And it's just a sad reality of languages that have a high degree of mutual intelligibility. It's the same thing with Slovak that happened to me I'd studied Czech and I studied some Slovak, and my Slovak has slowly turned back into Czech. And unfortunately, that's kind of where it is. But I still make an effort to speak Norwegian when I can. And I hope that at least you find that there's some use in me doing that, or trying to do that. But by no way do I think that I speak good Norwegian. I understand where I am with Norwegian very, very well and very clearly. And maybe one day it will improve. Maybe one day I'll focus more on Norwegian and I'll be able to go back to it. But I agree with you. It's not the same thing. And I agree with you that, yeah, I don't know if it's every polyglot, but I have met people who have focused on Norwegian and done fairly well with it. But yeah, but for sure, for my case, I can only speak for me, right? I only had Swedish to choose from. Swedish, and that was Swedish, Swedish, or Swedish. And so yeah, of course, my Norwegian is Swedish influenced. So that's quite normal, I think. I'm just amazed how you can switch from language to language in those lives. Truly noticeable, even though I've seen it many times already. Yeah, actually, it's really kind of you. First of all, it's kind of you to say that, Maurizio. So in my jobs, I've always had to switch between languages. So I've had a lot of practice doing it. So yeah, and at home we switch as well. We switch between languages quite a lot. So I'm kind of used to it now. It's been a long time that I've been doing this, but yeah, I know it can seem a bit funny, right, when you hear people doing it. And sometimes, I mean, I feel the same way when I watch other people do it. I'm like, oh, it's fantastic. But then when I do it myself, yeah, and also I can be like everyone, right? I can be a bit critical of myself because I will mix things up and I will get things wrong. When I spoke to Walter, I made mistakes that I wouldn't normally necessarily make, or I mixed up some languages or some words. That's also normal, and it's just look. We're not robots. We're human beings, and we do what we can do. The point is that we try and we communicate and we try and do something positive, and that's what language learning is all about, I think. Let's see. Ó, Richard, qual de você normalmente fala com a sua filha? Com a minha filha eu falo francês, inglês, alemão, espanhol. Então são as 4 línguas que eu uso com ela. E depois na casa eu falo macedonês com a minha mulher. Então temos 5 línguas da casa. Isso, sim. Det är aldrig för sent. Ja, tack Inger. Det är aldrig för sent. Ska försöka det. Ska prova att snacka bättre norsk för dig. Your videos are filled with such hopeful humility. It really helps me with my Spanish learning journey, and it's difficult relearning it after 40 years of my career. Need all the help I can get. Oh, you're very well. I'm very, very pleased about that. Thank you so much, Cosmic. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Advanced Spanish is very difficult. There are thousands of verb conjugations. Yeah, Spanish gets crazy with the verbs. ¿Qué es lo que te es más difícil para aprender un idioma parecido? Hablar los dos a la vez. A veces es difícil. Depende de los idiomas también. Hay idiomas, por ejemplo, que tengo mucha experiencia cambiando de un idioma a otro. Y eso sí que, por ejemplo, con el español, italiano, portugués, está bien ya, porque llevo muchos años haciendo esto. Pero hay otros idiomas que resulta súper difícil. Entonces, sí que eso sí que es una cosa. Y luego también no... A veces entran unas palabras o unos significados de un idioma a otro. Y eso también es difícil. Pero sí que siempre hay que hacer un esfuerzo para no cometer fallos, o para hablar de una manera clara y comprensible para los demás. Y eso sí que para mí es la cosa más importante. We use 4 languages at home. Sometimes we switch mid-sentence. Wow, Inga, that's crazy. I love it. It's normal. We don't even notice. Yeah, I love it. Hi, Richard. Have you think about learning what's this one? Learning what? Croatian. So I understand Croatian really well because I've lived in the Balkans for a long time, and a lot of the jokes that we share are in Croatian as well. We get a lot of the memes and videos and things. We get a lot of things in Croatian, so it's a language. And I lived very close. I lived in Bosnia as well, so um, I'm quite used to those languages in that region generally. So yeah, I mean, I've watched a lot of Croatian TV. In fact, we have Croatian TV at home, so yeah, I hear it a lot. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I speak. I can communicate with people. My I don't. So I yeah. I mean, obviously, it's easier for me to speak Macedonian, but I do speak. Na naškom pričam na naškom. Nema problema. Um, I have just started learning Spanish, and my quest is to break free from Mongolism. Good on you, Brian. That's really, really cool. I like it. All power to you. That's brilliant. I saw your interview with Matt versus Japan. Do you read or speak some Japanese too? Yes. Not very well, but yes, I do. I started learning Japanese for the Polyglot Conference in Fukuoka so that I could make out the menus, so that I could communicate basic things with Japanese people. And yes, I did study for that. I studied Japanese also for a semester in Sweden many moons ago so that I could learn to read it. And so I did that. And I had to, for my exam in Sweden, I had to read a passage that was a mixture of katakana, hiragana, and kanji, the basic kanji that we learned at the time. So yeah, but my Japanese is terrible. It's really terrible. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm conscious that there are probably lots more questions on Instagram, and I'm so sorry, but I have to disappear. It's been an hour and 20 minutes, and I get a lot of comments saying, "Why do you have these long videos?" But this is why, because I could speak to you forever. But unfortunately, I do have to go because I have to do some other things as well tonight. It was a pleasure to spend time with you again. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will look forward to speaking to you again soon. You're welcome to reach out to me on social media, also on Patreon if you want to interact with me about your specific language learning needs. And I'm very, very happy to talk to you there. Have a lovely, lovely week. Enjoy the first week of May. And I look forward to seeing you all next weekend. Same time, same place, back here, Instagram and YouTube. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and happy language learning.